Good, beautiful morning and welcome back to this channel, Low Drag Lifestyle. So if you've been watching this channel for a while, if you've seen any of these other videos, then you may be aware that after 3 years as a native English teacher in South Korea, this time for me is coming to an end. So as I'm about a month away from leaving, I thought I would make a video on kind of the pros and cons of Korea through my eyes. Things that I will definitely miss about Korea, and let's throw in for good measure a couple that I definitely will not. Okay, let's get into it. Driving was a big surprise for me in Korea because there are a few things that are absolutely terrifying when driving in Korea. Traffic lights don't mean what you think they mean. For instance, a red light. A red light means stop, okay? Where I'm from, it means stop. I understand that in many parts of the world, it means stop unless you need to turn right. That is the case in South Korea. If you need to turn right on a red light, that's fine. However, there are some additional, maybe unwritten rules that people like to follow in Korea. For instance, if there are no cameras at the junction and there are no police officers there, then you can drive straight through a red light and that's completely fine. There are also scooters that deliver mostly food and they live by their own laws. They don't care about red lights. They will turn left, they will turn right, they will go straight forward, and if they feel like it, they will drive up onto the pavement, onto the sidewalk, and just kind of weave in and out of everyone. So those are exciting to watch out for because you will be dodging them for most of your time in South Korea. I should say that when I say where I come from, I'm not saying things in the UK are better, I'm just saying that they are different and it's interesting to note the differences. Okay, so let's talk about delivery. Now, when I was planning to come to Korea, when I was doing all the paperwork and all the planning, one thing that I kept seeing people talk about was how awesome the delivery systems were here for food delivery and shopping online. This was a really big thing that people talked about. And I think this is more of a thing if you come from a country where it takes a long time to get stuff delivered. Personally, in the UK, I had Amazon Prime and most things from Amazon would be delivered the next day. So having something delivered from the internet the next day was not really a huge deal for me. But if that's not something you have available to you, then good news, you can get it here. But also food delivery. People went on about how great the food delivery is here. Korea does it really well. One story that I will tell you that I remember from my first few months in Korea, my first summer in Korea. I was in Seoul with some friends. We were sat by the Han River watching some live music, and a friend of mine said, "Let's order some chicken." And I thought, cool, okay, but where do we order it to? So the conversation that my friend had with the delivery driver was basically, yeah, we're sat by a large tree, I'm wearing a red jacket, my friend's wearing a blue jacket, we're near to the river. And about 25 minutes later, here comes a guy on a scooter with a couple of large boxes of chicken, saying, yeah, red jacket, you're by the river, you're by a tree, yes, this must be you. And in a sea of people sitting by the river listening to this big live music performance, here we are getting chicken delivered directly to us. That was really impressive to me. Now, I've been in South Korea for 3 years now. I don't know if this is the case around the world, but that particular story of chicken delivery was, yeah, certainly impressive to me. Amber lights, orange lights, this really gets me. I'm told that it means drive safely. I'm told that it's a reminder to drive safely. Why you need a flashing orange light to remind you to drive safely, why you don't just drive safely, I have absolutely no idea. But as I understand it, if you just see an orange light on its own in Korea, that means continue doing the thing that you were doing before, just drive. It means literally nothing. So I guess we could call driving and traffic laws, traffic regulation, one of the things I won't miss about Korea, simply because it's confusing. And with that said, it's really cold, so let's go and get a coffee. If you ever wondered, by the way, exactly how big of a presence Samsung is in Korea, take a look at this. This is apartment blocks. Apartment blocks near my school. Samsung, and Samsung.
혜택을 인증하시면 더욱 편리하게 이용하실 수 있어요. 카드를 회수해 주세요. 맛있게 드세요.
안녕히 계세요. So, since we've got coffee, let's talk about cafes. One of my favorite things about Korea is the amount and the variety of cute, nice little cafes where you can hang out with friends, where you can take a laptop and get some work done. There are just so many nice little cafes in this country. It really is a reason on its own to come to South Korea. And kind of carrying on from the cafes thing is brunch. I have no idea why or how this happened, but for some reason, South Korea seems to have become the world capital of Western or European style brunch. One strange thing is that everyone here seems to have agreed that pasta is a really big part of brunch, so you'll find that somewhere could say it's a brunch cafe when really it just does pasta. Not quite sure where that got lost in translation. Or maybe, hey, I'm wrong, and brunch really is mainly a pasta meal. Before we move on, let me remind you that this channel, Low Drag Lifestyle, is about lifestyle design and minimalist travel. In about a month, I will be leaving Korea and moving to Malaysia to start my new life as a full-time digital nomad. I'll be spending a month there and then moving on to somewhere else. So if that is the kind of thing that you think is interesting, that's the kind of thing you'd like to follow along with, then hit subscribe. I come out with brand new videos every single week. Hit the like button and leave a comment below introducing yourself. Okay, let's get on with it. Zebra crossings, black and white crossings. These are really interesting. In the UK, in my experience, if you're standing on a zebra crossing, then this means that cars will stop for you. Cars stop, you walk across, then they can continue on their way. In South Korea, not so much. If you are standing on a zebra crossing, that means you have created a kind of obstacle course, a fun challenge for drivers to swerve around and veer around. And if you stand in front of them and look a little bit upset and point to your feet and say, look, it's a zebra crossing, they'll apologize and they'll look very upset that they've been caught. However, literally everyone does it all the time. I'm not quite sure what the rules are there. I have asked Korean friends what the rules are, and I'm told that I'm right. You should stop when there are people on a zebra crossing. Literally no one does. Is it just me, by the way, who is very into brunch and takes it really seriously? I don't really know if I was like this before I came to South Korea, but now that I'm here, yeah, brunch is a really important meal. Okay, so let's talk about safety. Now, before I came down here to film this, I actually had a quick look at the lists of like the world's safest countries and the safest countries in the world for travelers and things like that. And South Korea isn't on there, and I really have no idea why. So I have genuinely never felt as safe as I do in South Korea. Compared to the UK, everywhere in South Korea is incredibly safe. One thing I find really incredible is that if you walk down the street at night, stores will leave stock outside, like a lot of it. There is a supermarket near me, a little local supermarket, and they'll cover it in they'll kind of put a curtain around it. But if you just pull that curtain aside, there are bottles of Coke and Sprite and drinks and water and anything else. You really could just go in and grab it. And there's another one just next to my apartment that I'll record a video of for you. It's a tile shop, and they leave tiles outside, just piles and piles of the thing that they want to sell. And during the night, no one comes and steals it. Now, I know that in the UK, this would not happen. If you left something outside of your store during the night, it would be gone in the morning. Tell me if I'm being unfair, leave a comment below and tell me, Chris, you are wrong. In my part of the UK, this would not happen. But certainly in the part of the UK that I've lived in, yes, if you own a shop and you leave stuff outside, that stuff will likely not be there in the morning. Equally, if you are going to cafes and you want to go to order a drink or you want to go to the bathroom for 5 minutes. Now, every country I've ever been to, if you're there with a laptop and your phone, then you think, oh, this is gonna be a chore. I need to pack my laptop away. Gotta take my phone with me. I can't possibly leave it on the table. Well, in Korea, if you're in a cafe and you're all set up and working, you literally just walk to the bathroom, spend 5 or 10 minutes in there, it's not a problem. You come back, all of your stuff is guaranteed still to be there. It's really quite crazy. To me, anyway. I was walking down the street near my apartment a few weeks ago and there was a store with the door open. The owner had gone home, but they left the store open. This was like a wine store, like a high-end off-license. They were selling wine and whiskey and things like that. The store was just fully open. The door was open, you could walk in, and I didn't really understand this. Why has someone left their store open? But it is pretty much a fact that South Korea is much safer, certainly than the UK. And can you hear the screaming kids? It's safer than the UK, probably safer than a lot of countries. If you're watching this in an English-speaking country, then it's probably safer than where you come from. Computers and anything you need to do regarding computers, anything you need to do regarding official websites and signing up for things or processing applications for things. It's complicated. It's incredibly complicated. In order to book vacation time from my school, I don't just need to log on with a username and password. I need a username and password, but I also need a USB drive which has a specific certificate on it, and that must be inserted into the PC in order for me to use the website. And then when I get to the website and I insert my USB drive, every time I must download and reinstall 5 pieces of software. That's 5 pieces of software in order to book any vacation or to leave school for like 5 minutes. My banking app on my phone, I bank with NH Bank, which is a huge bank here in Korea. Every time my banking app runs, it also runs another app I had to install for security. It won't run on its own. As soon as I launch the app, it says, I'm launching another app to keep you secure. I use the same second security app for bus tickets. If I want to buy a bus ticket, I need to run 2 apps in order to do it. Anything else, if I want to download certificates, official certificates from a government website, it's not just a username and password. I need, again, usually my USB stick, and then I need to install software. And you will often find that all of this stuff only works on Internet Explorer, which means 2 things. In 2022, none of this works in Google Chrome most of the time. It just doesn't. And if you're using a Mac, well, I mean, borrow someone's Windows machine. It's just not going to work. So yeah, the whole idea of trying to do stuff on the internet, important stuff on the internet, is incredibly difficult. Sending payments blows my mind in Korea. One thing I was told when I came to Korea is, wow, buying stuff online is so easy. Yeah, kind of, to an extent, until when it comes to trying to pay for it. Now, in my experience, I just give my card details or link a card to the website. That's more difficult than you might think. And honestly, after 3 years, I only have it successfully set up on one website, that is Coupang, and that took the help of a Korean friend to get me there. If you are thinking about coming to South Korea and maybe becoming a native English speaking teacher like me, then you might be interested in this video up here, which is all about the 3 years I have spent as a native English speaking teacher in South Korea. Alternatively, if you are more interested just in traveling and maybe working online, then you could check out one of the very first videos I made on this channel, which I'll link down here. And that is about geo arbitrage, how to use travel to make your money go further.